appointing.
That was mentioned but let's look at what's going to happen tomorrow. Now the cat is out of the bag. Rahul Gandhi is demanding an investigation by senior-most judges of the Supreme Court. But a decision has already been taken by the Chief Justice to send that file to Justice Arun Mishra. Can that decision be reversed?
Bhupen, as I told you earlier, and as Sabha Naqvi also said, Congress and all, they can't be appearing to be behaving like saints. They are, after all, a political party.
Fair enough.
So, therefore...
But you forget the Congress. You tell me, what will the Chief Justice do? The Congress is flagged a point.
Chief Justice has already constituted a bench. And if there is some kind of a further development in the matter as a sequel to today's press conference, maybe he will constitute a sort of larger bench.
Can he think in terms of say increasing the size of the bench? Maybe bringing in one of these four judges on that bench.
And if he does that, the entire controversy
will get over.
This is an ideal opportunity for the Chief Justice of India to rise to the occasion and say, okay, fine, I am constituting a larger bench.
But is that going to happen?
Senior most
what's the possibility?
I am constituting a larger bench of 2, 3, 4, 5.
KK Venugopal has said everything will be fine in 12 hours. Now I'm wondering, how will everything be fine in 12 hours? And if I specifically only look at Judge Doya's case, what is that move which could be made by Justice Mishra? One moment, Utkarsh and Danish.
So the first thing first, when you ask me that whether the Chief Justice of India can now assign it to a different bench, now there lies the main problem. He has done it in the past. He has taken away matters from Justice J. Chelameshwar's bench and given it to some other, Justice Arun Mishra's bench. In this case, the 2G matter, one of the aspects, this matter was with Justice J. Chelameshwar. But after the medical bribery case happened, this matter was taken away from Justice Chelameshwar's bench and was sent to Justice Arun Mishra bench.
So he has been doing that. So if he wants to,
so there is a precedent.
If he wants to, he can do that. But will he? And is that where the real confidence for the government is coming from? I know, Sabha, just hold on for a moment because I got to take a break. Let me slip into a break at this stage. One moment, Sabha, I'll come to you on the other side of the break because that's an important point. If the things have to come back to normalcy, what can be the road ahead? What can be the quid pro quo? What is it that the Chief Justice can offer? Because something has to be offered. Let's see whether we can find out 2 or 3 scenarios which could be indulged by the Chief Justice on the other side of this short break.
4 Supreme Court judges, 7-page letter bomb, 20-minute press conference, 3 big issues, Justice Lawyer death case, MCI scam, collegium functioning. Supreme Court judges call it discharging our debt to the nation. Government distances itself. Resolve issues internally, it says. 2 big debates, 1 power-packed prime time. Ultimate face-off between top judges and the Chief Justice of India. Is this the biggest ever crisis in the Indian judiciary? Sharpest viewpoint on political implications. Will the government be able to stay at an arm's length of judiciary's internal matter? CNN News 18, mega prime time.
The air inside your house is not as safe as you think, but it can be with Blue Star air purifiers with SenseAir technology.
Our team gets you the news you can use, news you should not miss. There is one website that keeps you updated. News18.com. Our team gets you the news you can use, news you should not miss. There is one website that keeps you updated. News18.com. one-click destination.
We're looking at the implications of what has happened today. Well respected and renowned legal voices in the country. Thanks very much, Mr. Sorabji. I don't know whether this is a great day to be a member of the judiciary, because look at what's being said by these four learned judges. What do you think can be done, sir, to resolve this crisis?
No, I think that's sort of exaggerated. Nothing is threatening democracy except that it's a very bad precedent. I don't know, Supreme Court judges holding a press conference. If they have any point of view, if they have some grievance, well, they can again approach the Chief Justice, try and sort it out. You see, the collegium is not a public limited company. If there are majority shareholders and minority shareholders, and they go to the public and express their point of view. They must understand that the inevitable consequence of this sort of press conference of Supreme Court judges will affect the public's perception of the independence of the collegium. So I think it was very inappropriate.
But
assuming there was some substance in that point of view.
But sir, look at what they're saying.
The method adopted was inappropriate.
But we can debate the method. We can certainly debate the method. But what about the content, sir? What about the content, Mr. Sorabji? Look at what the judges are saying. They are effectively accusing the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of giving matters related to political developments, national matters, to select judges. Am I to understand that there is a political divide within the community of Supreme Court judges, if I have to go by these four judges, sir?
No, I don't think there's a political divide, except that maybe their ego has been hurt. But in any case, the Chief Justice has the prerogative of assigning cases, of taking cases, and this can be sorted out by having a dialogue with him. Again, doing it. Not having a press conference, not having a sort of a thing as if he's against the Chief Justice. You see, Bhupen, I'm looking at it from this point of view, the effect on the public image, effect on the public mind.
But many would say that perhaps they ran out of options. But what if I say that the judges ran out of options?
The independence.
What you are describing is defiance. Many could say that maybe the judges were exasperated. What you are describing is defiance, sir. I'm saying there are many who would say that maybe the judges ran out of options. They didn't have any other option but to bring these facts in public domain. Abhishek Singh will be joining us live as well.
No, they are judges. They must accept that they can't bring it in public domain by having a press conference.
Okay. So your point is you should not have done the press conference.
They must remember that.
Abhishek, can I just get a quick comment from Abhishek Singh? I'll come back to you, sir. Abhishek, look at what Soli Sorabji is saying. Soli Sorabji's view is clear. These judges should not have gone public. How should we be looking at this, sir?
Yeah. There are two issues here, Bhupen. One is the modality, one is the content and the substance. Now, I entirely agree that normally, even almost in every case, going to a press conference is not the right way. I cannot support it. But extraordinary situations may require extraordinary ways of expression. Now, the question is this an extraordinary subject matter which might justify this extraordinary way of exception? I think it closely qualifies. Why? There are two things which the letter says, but you must not forget, Bhupen, that the letter is few months ago. It is followed by a meeting today, and it is then followed by a confirmation orally by Justice Gogoi in the press conference, which you seem to have seen on your channels. The two things it says is, one, that on matters of memorandum of procedure, after giving all the sermons in several judgments, you simply have to assert and implement it. Today, if I recommend your appointment and the government rejects it, and I re-recommend you, well, there is no business the government can delay it, and you cannot have a situation of 469 vacancies today. Second issue is a more disturbing one, because there's a clear hint, and I'm not saying this is the letter, and more than the letter, what happened in the morning today in the meeting, and what Justice Gogoi appears to have confirmed orally in the press conference, that nobody can question the prerogative 100% master of the roster, but the practice of sending matters of great moment, which I repeat very carefully my words, would have intersection with the highest corridors of power to relatively junior benches, raises a very, very disturbing question. Now these two issues, having failed repeatedly by letters or by meeting to get a satisfactory solution, possibly they felt contrary to their conscience.
So, Mr. Sorabji, don't you think, Abhishek, can I just hold you for a moment?
I think
one moment,
it's
Abhishek,
a very unfortunate thing.
Yeah, it's an
I think it's very unfortunate.
thing.
And the Chief Justice is the leader.
No, Chief Justice is the leader. Chief Justice is leader, KTS
No, one sec, only Bhupen.
Yeah.
As the leader of the group, the Chief Justice has to only embrace them and say, look, bygones are bygones, let's solve it for the future,
okay.
and it will be solved.
Another senior Supreme Court lawyer,
which is,
legal,
less
KTS
painful for a
Tulsi is
person
joining
like
us
you
live
spend his
as
entire
well.
life in this system.
Welcome, Mr. Tulsi. Look at what Abhishek Singhvi and Soli Sorabji are saying. Soli's point is that this should not have happened. This press conference should not have happened. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is saying, perhaps there was no other option left, and they exercised all these options. My point is, what happens now? What happens now if the allegations against the Chief Justice being made by his brother judges are that the Chief Justice is sending certain crucial matters to certain preferred judges? How do you now move beyond this allegation which has been leveled by these 4 judges, Mr. Tulsi?
Yes, I think this is a very serious allegation, because if you see the first paragraph of the letter, that itself says that we are addressing this letter to highlight certain judicial orders passed by this court which have adversely affected the overall functioning of justice delivery system and independence of high courts, besides impacting the administrative functioning. Now these are of course serious matters. The judges have in all cases up till now been able to resolve them, but what perhaps necessitated the judges going public, I'm only speculating, that when they come to the conclusion that the MOP has been delayed for so long that it has now put democracy in peril. If democracy is in peril, I think it is obligatory for the court to report to the masters that are the people of India. And so that's exactly what they have done. If instead of doubling the strength of constitutional courts, if they are going to be made to work at half the strength, then they obviously can't fulfill the promise of justice.
Soli?
And not only that, they're reeling under the weight of 3 crore cases.
Can I just get a counter from Soli Sorabji on this?
When repeated efforts at getting the appointments made has met with a stone wall, therefore they have thought it fit to go to the people and say that
Mr. Sorabji,
there is.
Please respond, sir.
We are unable to dispense justice for this reason.
Please help me. Please help me understand.
That has led to a situation where there is no rule of law.
But Soli Sorabji, look at what's going on.
It will put democracy in peril.
Look at what's going on the ground, Soli Sorabji. My fear is that when you have an allegation like this being leveled in public domain,
democracy.
In public domain, when these allegations are being made, Soli Sorabji, certain cases being sent to certain judges, how do you then restore faith? How do you restore faith then in Supreme Court, Soli Sorabji?
And if it is the sunlight, why is it not a sunlight for the Supreme Court itself?
I think Mr. Tulsi is on. Cannot hear us. Soli Sorabji speaking.
Because after all this, it exists for the consumers of justice,
I do
people
maintain
who are claiming
that holding a
and the high
press
courts
conference
for the same matter. So I believe that
Soli Sorabji speaking. I think Mr. Tulsi can't hear me. Just reduce the audio for Mr. Tulsi and Soli Sorabji speaking.
No, look, these are judges. They must accept that they have a certain image, certain things to perform, and the public perception is extremely important. By what they've done by holding a press conference, I mean, it sets a very unhealthy precedent. You don't hold a press conference. Do Supreme Court judges hold a press conference to say the point of view? As I said, this is not a public limited company.
But what should the Chief Justice do now, sir?
It's not majority shareholders,
I want to know what should the Chief Justice do? What is the solution now?
No, but it's all very bad. Democracy in peril, and our sole solutions again to rethink and to again enter into a proper dialogue with the Chief Justice and try and amend matters.
But do you agree with this allegation?
Because what will happen is this will now give rise to different people saying different things.
But sir, do you agree with this allegation being made by these four judges?
Very bad precedent.
Do you? I'm saying, do you
Today
agree?
Press conference, tomorrow there will be another press conference.
Do you agree? Do you agree, Solid Sorabji, with this allegation which has been leveled? But with this allegation which has been leveled by Justice Chalmeshwar, Justice Gogoi, Justice Lokut, and Justice Joseph, that Chief Justice Mr. Misra is giving certain cases to certain judges. How do I as a citizen look at this allegation then, sir?
Look, I have no means to say whether these allegations are correct or not correct. But assuming there is something in that, the method adopted of having a press conference is certainly incorrect.
Certainly, you still maintain that the method was incorrect. Abhishek Simki, final word to you. If what we have seen today, is the beginning of something more dramatic to come, and those judges have said that, you know, we'll see how things shape up. The Congress party's demand that let's have a separate investigation led by senior judges in Judge Loya's case. Are you now going to demand that the bench which is looking at Judge Loya's case must be reconstituted? Abhishek Singhvi?
Number one, I think God forbid that something worse is going to happen within the judiciary. I would be very hopeful that statesmanship and maturity will prevail and they will sit together and shake hands and it will be solved on the weekend. Second point is not, I don't think it's a political matter at all. All that is being said is that, especially because to a specific question we heard an answer that the rostering of the Loya case was one of the matter of disturbance and of concern. This having been said by one of the senior most judges of the Supreme Court, and the kind of optics that case raises, because, you know, look, this is the only case you heard of where possibly, and I'm not suggesting anything, I'm saying the allegation, purely allegation, is that a judge is physically liquidated possibly for the content yet to be announced of his judgment.
Okay.
Now, this is the very serious allegation, and if there is something which is a matter of concern, even by optics, even by way of appearance, even by way of a suggestion to the country at large that all is not well, I think we must bend over backwards to obviate it.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
So let there be an investigation.
Let's assume it's wrong.
Let there be an
bend over
investigation.
backwards to obviate the slightest possibility of that feeling.
Rather interestingly, rather interestingly, still no response, Bishwajit ji. Still no response from the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Bhupen, Bharatiya Janata Party is unlikely to respond, because if they respond, then, you know, the situation may get from bad to worse.
So I wonder.
And may I just respectfully say that I do not agree with the Honorable the former learned Attorney General. I think the judges had no option. That's why they say that we should not be going down in the history, in posterity should not tell we sold our souls.
Well, I'm reminded of that famous phrase, irrespective of what high position you hold as a judicial officer, ultimately there is a law above you. So have these judges, in order to ensure that the process of law enforcement, lawmaking, if that has to have its honor, if that has to have its basic spirit right, was this the best possible thing? The jury will certainly be out on that one. Will there be more developments like these? Are there more judges who may be confabulating amongst themselves? What can the government do? Government seems to have gone into radio silence mode. Of course, there must be back-channel talks which must be happening between the top layers of the government and the top layers of the judiciary. What can be the solution? What is the road ahead so that we start trusting our judiciary? India starts trusting its judiciary once again, is the focus all across peak prime time tonight.
Instead of placing this whole of this difference between the judges in the public domain, it could very well have been the subject matter of a full court discussion where all the judges, I think today there will be about 24 or 25, would sit together and debate on the matter. And thereafter, by majority, they would decide as to what would be the best course to follow. In which case, all this television exposure and the extent of intensive examination of this issue calling various people, including me, all this would not have arisen. And now the result of this is perhaps the confidence that the public have in the Supreme Court of India, that may be affected.
Do you think this in the long run is going to tarnish the position of the Supreme Court of India and the Chief Justice of India?
Not if the judges get together with statesmanship and wisdom and would arrive at some sort of a consensus so that the whole thing would be forgotten within the next 2 days.
What according to is the logical conclusion that this is going to go forward to, sir? How should...
No, this will be settled. It will be completely settled.
अपनी कार पे होगी बेफिक्री की सवारी जब आप अपने कार को फ्यूल अप करवा लेंगे नेशनल